I've just come back from voting in a local government mayoral election, and it made me think about politics, and it actually got me quite excited when I started to think about what was possible, because politics of all the arenas in the world at the moment is one of the last places for this age of awakening to sort of infiltrate. And so I actually can see that we're going to need more entertainers around to entertain people when these changes start to happen. But they're already happening in Australia, because I went down to the polling booth just before. I've just come back not so long ago. And I noticed down there were people with blue caps and blue t-shirts standing for one political party, and red caps and red t-shirts for another. And you know what? Some of them were actually sharing a coffee and a laugh. So the humankind, the humanity at the basis of everything is always there if you look for it. So for me today, I looked for it while I was out, and I thought about how I would be if I was a candidate running for some sort of presidential election, that rather than opposing that person's views, I would want to pick the parts of it that I did agree with. And I really like that aspect of what you're saying. I really like that passion with what you're saying. And I really like that skill you have in that area. Let's use that. Let's have a more unified sort of a unified sort of force around this. I don't want to bring the word agreement into here, because I like to be around people who actually have different views to me, who have a different way of looking at things, because I like to practice, not that I like to then come to agreement with what they're talking about, but I like to practice maintaining a state of acceptance of what their views are, and allowing them to have those views, and appreciating the passion with which they speak. I'm really passionate about passion, but appreciating the strength or the thought they've put into this, no matter what it is. And we get so much adrenaline from arguing. You know, it happens in our relationships, it happens at work, it happens especially in the political arena. And I don't think that there's anything wrong with it at all. I think that form of arguing, well, it's entertaining, you know, it's entertaining. It gives us all, it's a bit like when you go to the car races, you go to see a crash, or when you go to boxing, you go to see somebody actually get knocked out. So it's kind of like this adrenaline. We get this adrenaline over arguing. I know that I do it. I have done it myself. I've got to a point where I've got really quite satisfied with life, and I know that I've needed to shake things up a bit. And in the past, I shook things up by creating drama. I shook things up by deliberately, consciously opposing someone else. I actually saw it occur in my family, and I picked up that trait. But the trait that I picked up wasn't necessarily that trait of arguing. It's that trait of loving the adrenaline rush. And there are so many more ways to get that adrenaline rush. And some people jump out of planes to get that adrenaline rush. Some people play sport. Some people jog like crazy. Some people work out like mad. Some people put themselves in a deep meditation to raise their state, and maybe not bring up adrenaline as much, but bring up that vibe. That adrenaline has a tendency to then elicit after everything has died down. You know that high you get after you've had an argument and you've proved that you're right, or you've felt really right? You get to like a high state. I know it well. I've lived this enough times to know what it is. That it's not that you're right about something, it's you've actually brought your state through argument up into a higher vibration, but it's not sustainable. And the reason it's not sustainable is because of the method you've used to get there. That's why the arguing or opposing has so little value to our country or to our lives. What has the most value is that acceptance, the rightness brings you a one level of satisfaction, but acceptance, appreciation and love brings you, if you practice it, a more sustainable, more lasting impact on your whole psyche, on the health of your system, on the balance in your life, on who you attract, on the opportunities that keep coming, on the people that start to flock to you. So it's the vibe that I always like to go for. I love to look on a video and see myself shining. I talk about shining from the inside out, but not only can we as individuals shine from the inside out, when you're in that state, you can bring it out of another. Instead of looking at them and thinking, oh, I want to get out of here, oh, I don't like what this person is saying, you can find the spark. In strategic intervention training, we learnt the term, find the spark. Find the spark in somebody else. See what makes them rise. See what makes them lift. Find out what their real passion is. And you can put anybody with a passion that has a passion for something in a leadership role, and they will do a fabulous job. But no matter who wins in this election, I really don't care, because I know whoever is elected in is always doing the very best job that they know how, just as me in my life, I'm doing the very best job that I know how. You in your life, you're doing the very best job you know how. So is your ex, so is your boss, so are your children, so are your leaders. They're doing the best job they know how with the system they're working in, or with the vibe that they're working with. And everybody, when they're brought up to a higher vibe, they all shine. Everybody, there's not one person that can't shine when they're raised up. So, it's kind of up to everybody as individuals to just find that spark in yourselves. But, I particularly love to practice it when I'm out with other people, and especially more now than ever, finding the spark in people and seeing what makes them come alive, because I know how good it is for me, and I've had enough of that creating drama in my life for entertainment. I want to uplift, find the spark, and bring other people along with that. Just showing people just a slightly different way. And there are so many leaders, there are so many people that are already demonstrating that. I see it in some of the networks that I work with. And it's just so inspiring, people just lifting all the time. And humanity, wow, it's going to be so interesting to watch this shift in politics, because it's happening. It's happening. I saw it today, and I've seen it countless times before. And if you look for it, you find it. If you look for the goodness, you find it. If you look for the value, you find it. If you look for the spark, you find it. I love knowing that about life. I love being able to do that for other people. I love being able to lift them as well, because that gives me a higher rush than if I was just trying to be right. And not only does it give me a higher rush, it gives me a more sustainable, something that's sustainable, that's uplifting. I don't care for being right anymore. I just care to feel this good, to feel this good. And if anybody catches it off me, if anybody hangs around long enough just to feel that vibe and realize the change that can take place, and see the changes that, and acknowledge the changes that are already taking place in the world, well, it's going to happen so quick, it'll be tomorrow. And we'll be on to bring on, we need some more entertainment. Come on, all you entertainers out there, entertain us. Make some movies that really lift us, that take us from happy to ecstatic. Some writers, we need some more writers. We're going to need them. The ones that don't have to go down into the pits of drama and dig up people's horrible pasts, that they can start where they're at, which is quite a reasonable, balanced state, and lift them, lift them, lift them. There's no need to go back to the crap. We can do it from where we're at, rising even higher. Oh wow, I've got so much to say at the moment. It's exciting.